So Saturday morning, about 2:18, we responded to 11 West Friendship Street, just in from Broad Street, for a report of a shooting. While on scene, we discovered 2 males were shot. One of the males dead at the scene. The other one taken to Rhode Island Hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after. Investigation right now shows that they were at a club called Fuego. They were celebrating a birthday, about 10 of them, 10 friends, including the 2 victims. When they got outside, a fight started. It might have started inside, we're not sure, but it eventually led outside in front of the club. One of the participants in the fight who was opposite the victim's friends, went to a car up the street, we believe, and obtained a handgun, came back, and shot both the victims. So we have been working on that all weekend, and that investigation continues.
Major, the 2 victims are from Boston. Is there any indication that they knew the folks they were fighting with?
We don't know that yet. It's a good possibility that it could have been a Boston feud that was brought down to Providence, but that's just a possibility. We don't know.
So the fight, we don't know if it was amongst the group of friends or whether it was with another party of people?
No, yeah, we believe that it was not amongst the group of friends. There was other people besides that core of 10 people there that participated in the fight.
Have you recovered any surveillance videos, any showcasings?
Well, as you know, we don't really reveal what we've had in our investigation so far, but we're working it, and they're back there today working it. So.
Do you have a description of the vehicle that they went to get the gun from?
Yeah, if there's anything we need to put out to the public for help, we will. Right now, we're just running with what we have and to see where it leads us.
And of the 2 victims, were either of them the ones who were having the birthday?
You know, I don't know that. So.
2 in the morning, 2?
About 2:18 a.m.
So obviously they didn't bring the gun into the club, but the club has had an emergency closure. Have you had other instances with this nightclub?
I believe there was back in 20. There was another incident there. So we'll be using that in our case, you know, in regard to shutting this club down, for a long suspension or a permanent six. We usually ask for permanent because, we just can't have this going on. So.
Were they required to have a police detail?
I don't believe so, no.
Do you have a date yet for a hearing?
I think it's Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay. So then.
Excuse me, those were how many homicides this year?
I think that was that 14, 15?
14 and 15.
14 and 15, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's your closure rate with homicides right now? Arrests this year?
I'm not sure, but I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
So the next incident would be the 272 Manton Avenue, the shooting. There was a crowd of people in front of 272 Manton, and shots were fired from what we believe was a person on foot. Several people were struck, no serious injuries. 2 people were taken to the hospital. A third went to the hospital, female, and then left on her own. And so it appears she had a grazing wound and did not want to wait for treatment. Those people are certainly going to survive non-life-threatening injuries. Okay.
What time was
this? Yeah.
So this was about 1:15 a.m.
Also on
Correct.
Saturday morning?
That would be into Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep.
So So is this connected with any other incident previously? Is this retaliation?
We don't know yet. We're not getting full cooperation, we're not getting some, but from the names we have of the people in the area, doesn't appear to be connected to any other investigations that we're running right now.
Do you know, is there any indication the shooter knew the people, or was this a random?
I don't know, I can't answer that right now. Nothing to sway us either way right now.
The people who are outside, do they live in that immediate area? I mean, is there a party?
Some of them do, yeah.
Had there been a large crowd, do you know, or?
Outside the house?
Yeah.
From what I understand, it was about 15 people.
So of the other people who were there, were any who would have been likely targets of the gunman?
There were some people that were known to us. We're not saying they would have been likely targets. We don't know. Nothing on our radar in the last couple of months would say they would be.
Of the people who were shot, were any of them known to the police?
Yes.
How many?
Right now, one.
Oh, one.
Are they male, female?
2 females, 1 male.
Okay.
So the man was the one who was known to police?
Well, I'm not going to say.
Major, just in general, you know, we've been talking about the recent violence, and first of all, have the state police added any patrols in the city that?
So I think the other night we were concerned about a concert at the Strand, which we had no problem with. And I believe the state police were called in to help us out on that. Also on other things. That's being done by the administrative part of the department, which obviously this is the investigative division, so we're not too in touch with that.
In general, are you guys doing anything differently? Have you added anything internally or doing anything differently in the wake of what's been happening?
Well, I would say we have called a lot of people back, or taken people from units to work on the shootings. Other than that, no. I mean, they're running the investigations are running like any investigation would run. They're doing a good job. It's good work. We're not short-handed in our investigations. Everything's going along. I mean, obviously we need some breaks and we need to get lucky on a few things, but these guys certainly know what they're doing. And hopefully you'll see some results shortly.
Can you talk the overall threat to the public given the recent 2 past weekends?
Well, so, I mean, obviously we've had some people shot. There's been other things that have gone on. But like I said before, it's a decent-sized city, and I think, relatively speaking, people have not stopped coming in. I mean, people feel safe. We try and put as much manpower as we can out there, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. So, I mean, if you think of the thousands of people that come in the city on the weekend, and we talk about a few incidents, but it's tragic what happens here. It really is. So I don't want to take away from that, but for the most part, we're working hard to keep everybody safe.
Attorney General is obviously involved in the homicides. Also in the other incident on Manhattan Avenue?
On the shooting?
Yeah.
No. So the Attorney General's office, Steve Danbrook, who is, I think you probably all know Steve.
Yeah.
So he's the head of the criminal division. He comes to every one of our murders, and he's extremely helpful. We work very well with him, and we are very fortunate to have him there. There's a lot of questions that he answers for us, and we appreciate the help. However, we are the investigators, and everybody walks on their own line, and when we have to cross over, and we're more than happy to, because, you know, it's definitely a bridge we build that is so helpful to all of us. So like I said before, we're very thankful that he's there.
Have a relationship.
Yes, very good. And so that's been working out really, really well.
Obviously, you said these incidents this past weekend, no arrests quite yet, investigation's still ongoing. Anything you can update regarding last weekend?
Last weekend,
Like any-
this past weekend,
Where the 24-year-old was
oh,
killed. and,
Maya,
like,
yeah. So we're still working that. As you can imagine, you know, a car driving by fast is you know, it's a lot of work for us to trail that. But we're doing it, and we, you know, we're using a lot of manpower, and we're hoping to come up with something.
Major,
And,
you get a lot of cooperation from either people in the neighborhood, witnesses, or are you finding that people are reluctant to come forward? Just in general?
In general?
In general on these violent crimes, on the homicides and shootings.
So a lot of times on the shootings, the victims, in a lot of cases, don't cooperate as much as we wish they would. The community have been very helpful. So always offering, you know, the video or what they've seen or license plates, and you know, they realize that, you know, you can't do it on your own. You need the help of everyone, and it just helps so much to have people come forward and give us information that lets us move forward.
Do you have the IDs?
Yeah.
Or on the-
Yeah. So Mario Diaz, and Mario was,
DIAZ,
right, 27 years old,
Providence?
oh, that's the-
Boston, he's from Boston, Mass. And Kerwins, Kerwinse, Pimentel, Pimental, and he is 29 years old, and he's from Mattapan, Mass.
Can you spell the last name one more time?
Sure, Pimental.
29, I'm sorry, 29
29,
from Montana.
that's correct.
Okay.
Do you think
Any
it's possible that
IDs of the
maybe-
victims in the other incident on that?
I'll get you those after. Go ahead,
Sorry.
Amy.
Kerwins, would
Oh.
you mind spelling that one more time?
Yeah, it's Kerwins.
Okay, thank you.
They both are on.
Do you think it's possible that maybe the department is a little bit understaffed? You've got about, what, maybe 24 officers on the street at any moment? Do you need more people out there?
On weekends, we have more than that. We do. We could always use more people. I've always said that since, you know, the time I've got on this job. But we are maintaining the safety as best we can, and I've said that before. With what we have, we're doing as best we can. And, you know, it's not a, you know, we're not on life support. Like, it's not that shortage. But, listen, we could use more people, yes. And we have an academy coming out in, I believe it's like 4 months in November. So, we're looking forward to their help also.
Now, Major, it's pretty common in the summertime, especially on really nice weekends, for crime to spike. Are you seeing any difference, really, if you look back at your statistics, that shows that this summer is more violent than, you know, past summers? Not last year, because that was
Yeah.
COVID, but previous summers. Is this really unusual or not?
Yeah, so we've looked back, and it's nothing that raises a red flag. So, you know, crime does spike in the summer. We all know that. It does that around the country.
How many shootings are you up to so far?
I'll give you that after.
Okay.
Any reason, if you could put your finger to it, as why you think the recent violence is happening, other than just being in the summer months?
So, like I said before, even last week, there's a big influx of guns that have hit the street during the COVID. A lot of guns were bought by straw buyers, and then they were resold on the street. So we see, when we see shootings now, we see maybe 3 different calibers on the, you know, casings we find. So we know 3 gunmen had guns, and then maybe, you might see two others, on the opposite side. Usually, before you see one gun, two maybe at the most. So there's more guns in play, and which adds for the chance of more people getting injured.
Are you expecting to see retaliation from either of the incidents this weekend?
Well, I don't know that. So what we've looked into so far, we don't think there'll be any Providence retaliation for the Massachusetts, but we're ready if there is. We know who basically who the players are, and we're keeping an eye on things. So
can you, maybe not 100% say, but that the Boston victims, that case and then the other shooting were some sort of gang relations to both of those incidents?
I believe that some of the people identified, or at least one, as a gang member on the, and I don't know about the deceased, but of that group, as a gang member from Boston. Okay, so yeah, could be, definite possibility.
Could be.
Yep. So, and that's it. So,
Thank you.
all right, we certainly will keep you updated on anything that goes on, and there's also, sorry to say, there's a lot of good work that's been going on by this police department in the last couple of weeks that, really it's something that we don't talk about. You don't come in droves to hear that, because this is
Tell us.
important.
You have to tell us.
Yeah, well, we will. Okay.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Oh, I do have one more question, I'm sorry. Can you clarify which victim died at the scene and which one died at the hospital? Mario Diaz, the 27-year-old?
Mario was at the scene.
Mario Diaz, okay.